Carey. This is the survival experiment, and basically what we're here to do is talk about various survival tools and exercises. And I call it the experiment because I'm not a special forces, I'm not a hunter, I'm not a survival expert, I'm just a guy experimenting with survival. When I was helping with the youth camp, I had a roommate who was big into survival stuff, and everybody thought he was kind of funny. He would bring home woodpeckers and put them in the freezer, and he would put miner's lettuce in the salad. And you know, I think he's kind of strange, but we're going to talk about some real historical events where people had to rely on survival skills to survive. I've come to learn that my crazy friend, he had something going on, and I wish I would have learned more from him. And if you search history, you'll find out that there's been a lot of city folks that had to rely on basic survival skills to save their life in certain situations. And one of those stories was, I mentioned I used to help out at a youth camp in town here, which was part of an organization called Youth with a Mission. And one of the national leaders of that group, he's of Russian descent, and his family came here fleeing the communist revolution. And his family, his father was actually born on the road from Russia to China, and his grandparents had to walk from Russia through Kazakhstan to find refuge in China, and they had to rely on survival skills. And these are regular people that were running from persecution, religious or political persecution, and this kind of stuff happens all the time. You hear it in the news. It's and you never know when you might have to leave the convenience of electricity and gas-powered stoves to survive. And we've forgotten how to survive in nature. We've become so dependent sometimes on electricity and these modern conveniences. You know, you ask somebody, well, where do you get food from? Well, I get it from the grocery store, right? Where do I get heat from? Well, I turn on the heater. You know, and most people would not know if they had to how to survive without modern convenience. Another story, there was a couple just last year driving on a major highway over the mountains, hit a patch of ice, slid off the road in the snow, and they weren't but 50 feet from the road, yet nobody knew they were there, and they were disoriented by the snow and didn't know where they were, and one of them died. And that's sad, you know, but that was just an ordinary couple driving down a major highway, and they ran into a situation in which some basic survival skills would have helped them survive. You know, and so these are stories of ordinary folks that got caught out in the elements, and how basic survival skills and a basic kit can save people's lives. So we're going to talk about a basic kit today. And the reason I have this water bladder is because this holds about 2 quarts of water, you know, about 2 liters. And basically the average person who's doing stuff, they're going to need to drink at least a gallon of water a day. And if it's really hot, if you're really working hard, possibly more than a gallon. So here's half of my water supply right here. That means that I can travel, you know, hiking, you know, even if I'm just hiking, even if I'm not surviving. This is a decent amount of water, and then I add to that a clean canteen. This is about almost a quart, you know, so almost a liter. It's 800 milliliters, so it's almost a liter. And this is a stainless steel canteen. I recommend, if you can afford it, get a stainless steel canteen. Any water bottle will do. But the reason I recommend this is because, number one, it does not leach into the water, so you're not getting particles of aluminum or plastic in your water. Number two, I can put this in a fire and boil my water with it. And that's one of the key components you want. You want to be able to make water clean and safe to drink. That's one of your key survival issues, is getting water. You basically have 5 things you need. You need water, number one. You need food, possibly. You need a certain amount you need fire, basically, for heat. You don't want to get hypothermia. And you need some kind of direction. You need to know where you're going. Either stay where you are and set up a camp and hope for rescue, or find a way back to where you came from, back to civilization. And you need basic protection or shelter from the elements. Alright, so we got water. So I've got a system where I can carry 3 quarts, almost 3 liters of water. So that leaves me just a quart. So when I'm purifying my water, I can drink a quart, and I take 3 with me. So I get pretty far with that. You need some way to transport water. That's really important. Next, food. I recommend getting a book. Now, maybe not everybody's going to do this, but this is something you could do. This is Wild Edible Plants of Western North America. Now, if you're from Eastern North America, this might not be the book for you. You may find something that's from your area. But I've been learning edible plants, and there's a lot of common plants that you probably wouldn't think you could eat. Dandelions, cattails roots are edible, and the top of a cattail is good for lighting a fire. Horsetails. Now you gotta research and find out what parts of the plants are edible, but around here we got blackberries, we got manzanita berries. All these things have edible parts to them, whether it be the root or the fruit or the leaf. And so find out some, even if you just know 3 or 4 edible plants that are in your area. Around here we have miner's lettuce, we have all kinds of things. And so find out some edible plants, because you never know if you're going to be out in the woods and you need something to eat. And there's food all around us, we don't even know what it is. I encourage you, next time you go camping, practice some of this stuff. Practice doing a little survival. Maybe have one meal where you just gather food from the forest. Of course, you also got fishing. I usually keep a fishing kit in my toolkit. So let's look at what else we have. So right here, the little plastic bag. I got a couple batteries in there for my flashlight. Another cigarette lighter. You probably don't need 2 of them, but I just happen to have 2. Then in here is a little bag, and in there is some wire. There's about 5 little circles of wire. Basically, that's a snare wire. It's about 3 feet of wire I wound up. You could use that to make snares. Go research how to make snares if you want to know more about that. And then I've got some fishing line. I don't know if you can see it. A fishing line, a hook, and some sinkers. Emergency fishing line. Look how small and compact that is. It's nothing. Throw that in your survival kit. It's pretty easy to catch fish if you know how to do it. That's a good meal. So wild edibles, fish, snare wire for small animals. We got water, we got food. What are some other things we need? We need shelter, right? Believe it or not, in this bag I have some things, and I'll talk about these items as we go. Got my knife. And I've got this ultra compact sleeping bag. It goes down to 40 degrees. Incredibly small, lightweight. I'm into compact stuff. I don't want to carry a lot of weight with me, Also, I have this blue tarp. This was $3 at Big Lots. You don't have to spend a lot of money on this stuff. Keep a tarp. Put one in your car or put one in your bug out bag, whatever you are into. This is a shelter. You can put it on the ground to keep yourself off the ground. This is 8 by 6. That means it'll cover me, you know. I'm 6 feet tall, so 8 feet gives me extra foot on each side. I can cover myself and sleep. And you can create, you know, put some rope on a tree and string this over it like a tent to get out of the rain. I mean, you know, keep this in your car. You can use this for all kinds of things, not just survival. So it's handy to have. Now I mentioned rope, so I want to have some rope. This is 550 paracord. It means it holds about 500 pounds of weight. And it's this is about 50 feet of it. It's pretty compact. And I haven't used this yet. It's still in a package. But you could use this to string up your tarp. And again, you can keep this in your car. You never know when you might use it to, you know, for whatever. Okay, so this rope has all kinds of purposes. I suggest putting rope in your survival kit. You can tie up a shelter with it. You can use it to tie your food up in a tree if you're camping to keep the bears out of it. Has all kinds of purposes. Okay. I've got a poncho just to keep myself out of the rain. This is another shelter item. You don't want to get wet when you're camping, hiking, outdoors. So lightweight, simple. You could also use this for carrying water. You know, I mean, or catching water if it's raining. Rainwater is fresh, ready to drink water. So if it's raining, catch some, or keep yourself out of the rain. Shelter. There's another knife. Talk about that later. I've also got this string. This is just a finer grade string. Same as the paracord. You could use this for tying a shelter, making snares, whatever, right? Multiple purposes. Inside of that I had a little flashlight. That's a luxury item, but hey, look how small this is. I mean, doesn't take up weight, doesn't take up room. Okay. Okay, so shelter. Those are some basic ideas of lightweight shelter items that you can take with you. Put them in your car. Put them in your, you know, take them with you when you go camping and stuff. So we did water, we did food, we did shelter. As far as direction goes, put a little compass in there. You can get little keychain compasses. Tie one onto the outside of your backpack. A lot of people literally get lost in the forest walking in circles because they think they know where they're going, but it's easy to get disoriented if you walk in circles. Or you could find out ways of navigating using the sun, stars, following a river downstream, but make sure you have direction. So, you know, remember, when you're putting together a kit, you don't need all this stuff, but at least get enough to cover your 5 basics of being able to make a fire, get water, get food, to find direction, and to make a shelter. And you want to make sure you have a knife too, cutting tool. It's a basic tool that's going to help you do all those things. This is Patrick Carey, Survival Experiment. And remember, it's not just about surviving, it's about living.